Next up, here to shed some light on NFT gamification and eSports is Boring Stone's Punk Ape Strong, Dogami's Max Stokel, Zytra's Tracy Lapalo, Dapper Labs Alan Carr, and Crypto Stash in a panel discussion which is moderated by Anna Titova of Cointelegram.
Hey everyone.
Hello everybody. So we are starting today our discussion on NFT gaming and esports. And last week, and this work was super crazy with the rebranding of Facebook to Metaverse, with the launch of Grayscale, Decentraland Trust, and today's news of the closure of Series B funding of the Sandbox game. And we see how this industry evolves quite quickly. And I'm happy to have here a discussion with the great speakers, with Punk Ape Strong from NFT.Family, with Max Stoyatsky from Dogami, Shia Newwick from CryptoStash, Tracy Leparula from Zitara, and Alan Carr from Dapper Labs. And let's all the speakers introduce themselves and what exactly you do and your company. So let's start with Tracy.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Tracy. I'm here in Toronto, Canada. I got involved in crypto in 2012. I'm very fortunate because Ethereum started out of Toronto. So it was very early on the team, running some of the largest conferences here in Canada, where we run art galleries. And I was quite involved in NFTs very early. I ran something called ETH Waterloo. It's where CryptoKitties launch. So I'm excited to see them from Draper Labs here. And then I've been doing right now working for Zitara. And so what we do is we help a lot of companies launch their NFTs. So most recently, I was on stage with Floyd Mayweather at the Bitcoin conference. We launched his NFT, and now working with Dignitas and eSports teams. So I'm really excited to be part of this panel and just to hear what everyone has to say. Anna?
I'm going to continue then.
Cool. Thanks, Alan.
Sure. So my name is Max. I'm a co-founder and CEO of Dogami, which is a play-to-earn game, early-stage startup based out of Paris. We've been working on the project now since January, and we're basically building now the Petaverse, where you can engage with your dog avatar in an open world, and people can basically be represented by the dog and engage in different experiences like mini games, single player, multiplayer, but also down the road like concerts and other activities. So we've been working on this project now since the beginning of the year with an experienced co-founding team. Lucky enough to have a few very strong partners from the very beginning, also Draper Goren Holm and Blockchain Founders Fund. And yeah, looking forward to discuss NFT and gaming today.
I can jump in next. So I'm Alan. I'm at Dapper Labs and helped launch NBA Top Shot after helping to run CryptoKitties for a couple of years, starting when I joined the team in 2018. I got into crypto because of NFTs and because of CryptoKitties, and was lucky enough to be able to join the team and help run CryptoKitties, help launch the first blockchain battle royale with cheese, which could be said to be one of the first play-to-earn games in a sense on Ethereum. We learned a lot from that, and yeah, I've been hard at work on NBA Top Shot, trying to bring this world of NFTs to the masses, and trying to find ways to appeal to people who may not even be aware that they're getting involved in crypto at all. And that's been a fun and exciting journey for us.
All right, I'm jumping in next, and then we'll have a Punk Ape Strong. He can lead the pack here at the end. So my name's Stash, or Crypto Stash. I've been a content creator in the space since 2017. I've been in crypto since 2013, and I just really like to be helpful, be able to put out content that people can easily understand and is approachable to everybody out there. I got into NFTs in 2017, actually covering CryptoKitties. I had kind of seen a couple of projects before that, but nothing had really piqued my interest until then, and that was really one of those big, moments where I saw here's more that we can be doing with this, and I immediately jumped in. I was actually the first YouTuber to create their own NFT individually. I did that with Engine in the beginning of 2018, And so I've been creating content around NFTs and blockchain gaming since then, and one of the premier blockchain NFT gaming streamers on YouTube and Twitch.
Nice. Hey, can you guys hear me by chance?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, sweet. I'm having technical difficulties with OBS and stuff. I might need to do a hangout session with you, Crypto Stash, to get Punk Ape Strong working again. I don't know. I know you use OBS all the time, but Punk Ape Strong here. I'm the chairman of the board for Boring Stone. Happy to be here.
Amazing.
I love Boring Stone. I feel like I was on the cover just not too recently ago.
Yeah. Crypto Stash made the cover of Boring Stone. It was
So cool.
pretty epic drop. For those who missed it, basically, it was the blockchain booze community and some friends got together to basically do a drop that was trying to combine a bunch of NFT families together and create a fun drop for the community and do a little bit of satire, have some fun, and see if we could create some more community engagement with blockchain and booze. And it took on a life of its own.
Amazing. Anna?
I don't know if Anna might be
Maybe she can't
out.
hear us. Yeah. Well, I can jump in. I have some of the questions in front of me.
Go for it. You're the mod. Go for it, Tracy.
Let's do it. All right. So NFTs and blockchain. Obviously, there's been extraordinary growth for both users and the volumes in recent months. What do we think the main drivers of that is? Let's start with Crypto Stash.
I think the main driver when it comes down to NFTs and kind of their utility is that it's entertainment focused. Cryptocurrency is great. It's very financially focused.
Thank you. Let me introduce as well myself. My name is Anna Tutova. I'm CEO of Coins Telegram.
I think there might be a major delay issue. Anna, if you can maybe do a quick refresh, or you're there now.
My name is Anna Tutova. Okay. I'm CEO of Coins Telegram, and we have a group of so we help different NFT, DeFi projects, and as well traditional blockchain companies with publications in media, into financial business, crypto media, and in regional media all over the world. And we promote projects via influencers, YouTube, Twitter, and in social media. So let's start with our first question, which is NFTs and blockchain gaming have been witnessing extraordinary growth in both users and volumes in recent months. And what are the main drivers of this growth? So let's start with Tracy.
Okay.
Take it away, Tracy.
Take it away. I actually love virtual events. Oh my God, the technicals. But okay, so honestly, it's almost a tsunami of growth that's happening right now, and honestly, every different way. The obvious ones are some of the big brands that come into it. Obviously, when the NBA comes, or you see Steph Curry like changing his profile picture to a Bored Ape, like it's going to get that attention. I remember being in Australia for the Ethereum Developer Conference when Engine was there and talking to them about like their ERC 1155 protocol. And I think that actually made the whole gaming space get a little bit bigger in the sense that you could put fungible and non-fungible together. Some of the other things that I think is just like COVID-19 hit, everyone became indoors. Metaverses started going crazy. So I think that was a big factor in it. And just the open source technology that's out there. So it's a boom in every way. NFTs has come, and that's come. Gaming obviously is the pivotal kind of tipping point of what just made this mainstream.
If I can jump in, I totally agree with all of that. And what's been interesting is like, I feel like a lot of us who got started with, say, CryptoKitties or some of the early NFTs in 2017 really understood like the appeal of these digital objects and these digital collectibles and their potential to be gaming assets and all the different potentials that NFTs had. And at the same time, we also understood sort of the kind of really difficult process getting people onboarded into crypto in general, even at that time. And then when you wanted them to get involved in some of the craziness that you'd have to do to make just simple transactions work on Ethereum at the time, it was pretty difficult. And so you mentioned Engine, and you mentioned working with Wax before, and all of these different protocols coming online, and all of these different wallet solutions, and all of the dApps are finding a lot more approachable ways for people to be able to just show up. And in a lot of cases, all you need is a username and password, and you can get started with NFTs and then really work your way down the rabbit hole at your own pace. And I think that, combined with all of those other factors that you mentioned, are really driving this growth. And it's huge accessibility into something that just clearly connects with so many people and has so much potential once you start understanding what it is that you're dealing with. And then I know you got cut off a little bit there, Crypto Stash. Did you want to finish up your answer?
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, Alan. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I really do.
Thank you, Alan. What about Max?
Crypto Stash, you can continue if you want. It's probably just started if you want.
No, go for it, Max. I'll clean it up here.
Sure. I mean, for me, really, play to earn gaming, for example, and NFTs in gaming really just have, launched with XE for me. I mean, the transaction volumes you see there is crazy, and I think it's largely driven by the economic incentive that those NFTs and those mechanisms offer. Same with Set Run, for example, where they're trading racehorses for 100K and more. So I think it has a lot to gain, just like in the rest of the crypto world, and that makes it super attractive for new users to get on board. That being said, I don't think economic incentives is gonna be the only driver in the long run. I think there's a huge opportunity for NFTs in general to make games more attractive, and to also enable people to express themselves, even build their own legacy around their gaming items and what they've experienced in games. And I think it's going to be an extremely good value proposition.
Sorry about being off for a second. Hopefully I fixed my Punk Ape Strong puppet. I'll jump in real quick because I think Alan was spot on with what he said, and I caught the end of what you said, Max. But I think this last year and a half, 2 years jumped our part of the space forward probably 5 to 10 years, right? The fact that we all basically lived and worked in the metaverse, right? We all stayed home. We all did virtual things like this and Zoom meetings for every meeting. Basically meant that we forced our friends who weren't going to adopt this for a while to adopt. And we got, I think in that sense, we got a little bit lucky in that we got to leapfrog into the future.
Pause for dramatic effect.
I feel like
all right. So like getting back to what I was saying, I really think that, the entertainment side of what NFTs bring to cryptocurrency has been one of the biggest drivers here. It's something that we see, it's a driver for a lot of things in the entertainment industry. And in general, people like to collect things, right? They like to be able to collect these entertainment focused items. And that was kind of what was missing from crypto, being a very financially focused industry, having a big Bitcoin wallet is great. For the bottom line, but at the end, it's kind of boring when it comes to like, okay, you can't show it off. I guess you could, but you look kind of silly, like, here's my Bitcoin wallet, look how much Bitcoin I have, but people are doing that with their NFTs, and they're doing it with their gaming items. They're already doing that in the traditional gaming world and in the traditional collectible world. We've just kind of taken it one step further, and I think that people are really starting to open their eyes, because what NFTs and blockchain provide to these existing industries is really next level utility and functionality, in particular for gaming, which I've always said since the beginning is going to be the biggest mainstream driver for crypto, period. And we're just starting to see that. We're starting to see major AAA titles in integrating blockchain. We've seen NFT, startup firms and gaming companies take away top talent from other larger established gaming, studios. And so we're really just starting to see the beginning of that. But I really do think it's driven by the fact that, as a gamer myself, and as I know lots of other gamers out there, they see the value in being able to extract value and actually get value back instead of only giving and never getting anything back. It's been a very take relationship. And now we've changed that with NFTs and with gaming and playing to earn. And so now we understand this model can work, it will work, and it will be the future.
Yeah, 1,000%. I think Anna has a massive delay.
Yeah.
So one question that we wanted to cover is understanding how disruptive that we think play to earn is going to be in terms of the wider crypto community. And Tracy, did you have any thoughts on how this is going to disrupt crypto?
Yeah.
Overall?
Well, play to earn is like changes everything, right? And so I think it's kind of when Bitcoin and Ethereum hit the streets too, I think it potentially got the financial district a little bit nervous. And I'm not sure how the traditional gaming industry is taking to it. It seems like they're now changing a lot of their strategies to focus on how do we actually reward people who are dedicated to actually that are in our game and spending time here. How that affects the general crypto industry, they don't even know what's about to hit them. Like I think NFTs, we said they were going to come, they're here, and obviously they're widespread, but in gaming, the use case is so obvious, and the audience of gamers, they're so tech savvy in the sense that there's still, without a doubt, friction in the crypto industry. Sending, your address, your private key, a wallet, there's some friction there, but gamers, they can oversee all that friction, and more technology is obviously making it simpler. I think the ability to now have this asset that you can trade for other cryptocurrency, for fiat currency, is just going to take the crypto industry by storm. And obviously people are listening, but it just hasn't hit yet, I don't think.
Well, it's a funny thing because, when you talk about gamers and what they've been experiencing for the last, almost 20 years, if not longer than that, these virtual currencies and virtual, game items have always been a very big part of that. I was playing Ultima Online in 1998 and selling virtual gold on eBay for a good amount of money, and this was something that was happening about it. It just wasn't blockchain based. There was no cryptography that was backing it. So gamers are very comfortable with digital currency and digital valuation of items, of virtual items, and more so than any other demographic out there.
Yeah, like I can't believe, like you play a game, you collect all these items, and if you finish that game, it kind of just ended there. And to be able to just continue your life, to continue these digital assets across different platforms is like a revolution. I'd love to hear what you have to say, Alan.
Yeah, I think one of the most interesting things when I think about play to earn is, as Punk Ape Strong was saying, play to earn is not new, right? There have been people making money off of playing games like RuneScape, or you take a look at when Diablo 3 launched, right? There was a real play to earn marketplace. Again, it wasn't using crypto. So what are the interesting things that we gain when crypto enters the equation, and how does that actually interact with this existing crypto ecosystem? And I think it really comes down to the kind of interoperability and the trustlessness, and the fact that people can build on top of each other's experiences. And we saw that from the very beginning with CryptoKitties when like Kitty Hats launched and various other projects that were completely permissionless, that allowed a cat to own a hat, right, without Dapper Labs being involved whatsoever. And I think that we're going to see those sort of interactions happening on a smart contract layer, both with permissions between communities, bringing communities together, kind of that Ready Player One vision, where completely separate worlds can now interact because they're all on the same protocol. And I think that what we're going to see, how that affects the crypto space more widely is that scaling is has always been a bit of an issue, but it's always been kind of like, is it such a big issue if it costs me $100, but I'm moving $1 million around? Who cares? But now scaling really matters because, not all these gaming assets are worth $1 million. And so I think that's the biggest thing, is it's going to really push the industry to be super quick, with really fast confirmations and really high throughput, and looking at all of the impact of that. And I think that's going to push a lot of these side chains and additional blockchain options, and kind of de-emphasize something like Bitcoin, which can't do all of these interactions and doesn't have the same smart contract layer at the base case.
I fully agree. So I do think that the technological enablers that are there currently are gonna run into problems, especially when you think there's gonna be like millions of users who want to access the same data at the same time or write back to the blockchain, for example. And I think this is going to disrupt the space a lot. And this is also going to prepare the space for more broader adoption of blockchain applications by millions of people. So I think gaming is, it's going to play a crucial role in that field, and will have a lot of implications for the rest of the industry. Definitely. And I think, Flow has Dapper Labs has already started to build Flow that is more catering to gamers. It has to be seen how much it can be expanded to other use cases, right?
Yeah, so the thing with Flow was we launched CryptoKitties and took down the Ethereum network with a very small number of people breeding cats. It was kind of a niche activity with a small number of users, and Ethereum couldn't handle it. And then we tried again. We tried our hardest with, again, I mentioned Cheese Wizards, our blockchain battle royale with Cheese. We tried to do that all on chain. It was a simple rock, paper, scissors battle royale game. And again, Ethereum couldn't really handle that, even though we tried to do it as smartly as possible. So we pushed forward with the Flow blockchain. And today I've seen data that there are more people owning Flow NFTs than there are, or just NBA Top Shots moments, than there are people who own NFTs on Ethereum. And there's more NFTs being supported on Flow than all of Ethereum, just to name the one network. So we're already really pushing forward that scaling, and it was built from the ground up, as well as other networks that are out there, trying to establish a foothold. But we really saw that need to scale and to be able to have so many people interact at the same time in order for these experiences to live up to their full potential. And so I'm really excited about everything that we've been able to build so far with Flow, and all of the new experiences that are coming on board, like Chain Monsters and a bunch of other games and NFT and just various blockchain projects.
I would love to get people's opinion on the other chains, because I know I learned so much from Crypto Stash about Wax back in the day, and I've participated on Wax on the Bro Punks, and all the things I've done on Wax because of you. And now, Tezos, I spend so much time on Tezos myself, and I know that Dogami, Max's company, is building on Tezos. And I remember seeing something very recently where it was the Tezos blockchain is doing, like half the number of the transactions that Ethereum is doing right now. And it's almost all NFT focused stuff. So do you guys think, the rest of you who are, obviously smarter than me, do you guys think that the blockchain is that important for the average mainstream NFT holder or user, or is the user experience more important, the fees and things like that?
I think right now, in this moment of time, the blockchain's become a conversation, mostly because the environmental factor, the speed. I remember CryptoKitties when we had ETH Waterloo. We were so excited. I posted everywhere. And then a week or 2 weeks later, mid-November, it's like congestion on the network. Everyone's like pointed at us. I also worked for Wax years ago as well. And so Wax, what I really like about, so I have to give shout out to Flow. Love Flow. Amazing. Definitely top one. What I love about Wax is the founder started OpSkins. OpSkins was traditional skins, not in the blockchain space. He started running Wax. And so he has that mindset of how do you make it mainstream in the real world. without just the blockchain expertise. So I'm all very excited about Wax. And I think, yeah, the one-off platform by Tezos is really cool. So I don't see why there can't be more than one, but for gaming specifically, I think, right now the environmental factor, when I just read Twitter and the blogs you're reading with working with esports teams, like it seems like people in the gaming space are just trashing NFTs in some ways because of the environmental factor, which needs to get solved.
Yeah, there's a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt being pushed around out there, and a lot of it is completely off base, right? In a lot of cases, if you look into it, most of these newer blockchains are doing some form of a proof of stake specifically to address this blockchain conundrum, the environmental conundrum. I know our CTO specifically said, well, we won't create a proof of work blockchain just because it's irresponsible to do so. So Flow, for example, uses a tiny fraction of the, has a tiny fraction of the environmental impact of something like Ethereum. That was very important. And again, all of these other blockchains, I've seen a lot of push to help educate people about the low environmental impact. So it's unfortunate that a lot of misinformation is out there, although some of it is legitimate concern when you're talking about some of the legacy blockchains that are out there. But I think as more people realize that actually it takes a lot more energy to send a search to Google than it does to send a handful of Flow transactions, for example, they'll come to realize, okay, maybe it's being overblown.
Yeah.
I fully agree. It's a bit of a pity that.
And actually, I think it's quite critical to select on which blockchain you operate, because especially for the new users, the cost of buying these NFTs, minting NFTs is quite critical. And we see as well a lot of hype around Polygon. And that's the difference on launching games on Ethereum and spending just hundreds of dollars on transactions when there are like Polygon solution, when the users can spend much less money, or with the Flow, with Tezos, it's quite great. And let's move to the next question about secondary markets. And I would like to know your opinion. How do you see secondary markets, and how NFTs are used in gaming?
We have a lot of experience.
Okay, you can continue on.
Sorry, we have a lot of experience with secondary markets at Dapper Labs because, again, when we launched CryptoKitties, there was no OpenSea or anything like that. So in order for the CryptoKitties experience to even exist, the team had to create their own marketplace, which we had a lot of learnings about. And then similarly, we were in the same kind of situation when we launched NBA Top Shot because it was on Flow. Again, there was not yet a generalized secondary marketplace for NFTs on Flow, so we had to create our own specialized marketplace. And there's a lot of pros and cons to doing that. You can really create a specialized experience that understands the special aspects of your NFTs. But the big downside, of course, is you're restricted to the audience that knows about your NFT. You don't have the same sort of discoverability. And also you're responsible for adding all the new features and stuff. And I think the biggest advantage to blockchain tech is the fact that you don't have to build your own marketplace most of the time. You can lean on a third-party marketplace, whatever is running on your blockchain that your NFTs are running on, and you get extra discoverability because someone might be there for game A and see game B assets and be like, "Ooh, what is this?" And as new features get added to the marketplace, you get to tap into those without having to build anything on your own. And I think that's incredibly powerful, and is just one of those greater examples of interoperability that blockchain provides these assets.
Thank you, Alan. What do you think, Max?
I mean, I fully agree with Alan. So interoperability of NFTs, so taking NFTs from one application to the other, is extremely valuable. And I think we haven't even scratched the surface of what you can do. I mean, now you see a few bridges in the industry, but down the road, I think it's going to be so cool to see that you can, buy an NFT and participate in a game. If you don't want to play it anymore, you sell it to someone else, or you take that NFT to another game and then play that game. And I think it's extremely powerful. And obviously, it's also, first of all, beneficial for the player because they have full ownership over their assets and what they do with it. But it's also beneficial for the publisher or the creator because they obviously, when the NFT changes hands, they get transaction fees. So I think NFTs in gaming are here to stay. There's no doubt about that. And it's also cool because you can actively build them into the game design and build them into the game core loops so that people have to use them and maybe have to trade with them and these sorts of things. Personally, I'm extremely bullish that within 5 years from now, almost every game will support NFTs in some shape or form.
What do you think, Tracy?
I think marketplaces are like so critical. They're popping up everywhere. Some do a much better job than others. So I think it's important for the mass adoption of NFTs because it just, can you pay with credit card? Does it accept enough? Is it easy to take off the marketplace? That's what I find with using a few others. So it's like, great, I have this NFT, but it sits in my wallet on there. So there's a lot of innovations coming, but it's such an important part of the ecosystem of gaming because, again, it brings you from just this siloed economy that you can now create in your game. Now it's like you can build it throughout other games and trade not just swords and trading cards and whatever it is, weapons, gear, skins. You can now maybe even exchange privileges as well. Maybe you can have an NFT that gives you a boost in another game, or, it's going to be crazy to see what these games kind of think of because it's kind of endless possibilities. But marketplace is a critical part of the ecosystem. There's probably top 10 right now leading the space, but there's ones coming up every day. I personally like ones that are very niche focused in terms of whether they're just for gaming or just for fine art. But the other thing that I actually find really cool that really grew the space is like when people were able to mint their own. When marketplace allows you to do that, it made it so much easier. Where you have places like Maker's Place, they look through what the actual artwork's going to be before it's there. Where other ones like Rarible, anybody can mint it. So I think that's also an important feature when looking at these marketplaces. But it's so important to the gaming space overall. It's exciting.
Yeah, and in Zytara, you as well building your own NFT marketplace, right?
It's one of the things that we're working on. Yeah, for sure. Right now, it's the big client is we're focusing on Dignitas. They're an esports team, so they have a lot of cool, exciting possibilities with their streams and just exciting stuff. Esports teams overall.
Cool. And CryptoStash, you as well face so many NFT projects, NFT marketplaces. What are your thoughts on secondary markets?
Yeah, I think the secondary market does play a really critical role. You talk about the completion of this kind of play to earn element that we've been pushing here. Without that secondary market, that play to earn doesn't really come to fruition. You can play and earn, but then if you can't do anything with it, you can't sell it to somebody else after the fact, or when you're just done with a game, then that cycle is broken at that point. So I think it's incredibly critical for gaming adoption. Now, when it comes to just regular NFTs, I think that less so is it important. But I think that we're also going to see, and we've already seen this a lot, is that, where we've had big, NFT marketplaces, secondary marketplaces like OpenSea, Rarible, other ones on other chains. It's, for lack of a better word, they're very centralized because these are the places where everyone goes, everyone knows. They're becoming the Amazons and the eBays of NFTs. And I think that we're starting to see a little bit of a shift of of individuals having their own sites of projects having their own smaller marketplaces, and I think that's going to actually help drive a lot of that NFT functionality here in the future is having more accessibility for individuals to be able to easily create these things for themselves on their own personal websites. Having connectivity to things like Shopify apps or WordPress apps where people can easily and quickly spin these things up. And it's just another component of what they're doing in their project. and they're not necessarily beholden to some of these secondary markets, like Alan was saying before, where you're not getting a full tailored experience for your collection. You're getting whatever their generic experience is or whatever you can work out with their team. And so it comes across not as beautiful and engaging, I would say, in a lot of times. So that's kind of the downside of the secondary market. But I think it's important that there is a good flow between these individual markets and secondary markets and like mass secondary markets, where you have consistent royalties across these, and then looking towards getting to a cross-chain environment, because that's really where this is going to take off. And that's where we have a little bit of an issue with right now, is that we have all these environments, but they're very siloed, right? Even on Ethereum, there's not as much, there is to a certain extent, but they've developed in a way where you're kind of siloed in each of these markets, and they don't necessarily play well with each other. And then going cross-chain, even that is a lot harder. So I think that's really what the inevitable future of secondary markets is going to be, is really who can get to being a true cross-chain platform, offering services and a really great unique experience in UI and UX. They're going to be the winners.
Yeah, I want to just throw out there that I think Stash is 1,000,000% correct. And I think that it might be even not who the first secondary marketplace to enable all this stuff will be, but which ones will integrate the first wallets that are cross-chain and able to be, right? Like everybody's seeing some moves from Coinbase wallet, for example. Coinbase wallet so far is just an Ethereum wallet, but if Coinbase wallet started having, started working on Flow and started working on Wax and started working on Tezos, then, there's one integration point, kind of like how everyone integrates with MetaMask for Ethereum. That's going to change, right? Or there's Wallet Connect or MetaMask. On Tezos, for example, everyone doesn't, most people don't connect Temple Wallet, which is the one that is kind of like the MetaMask for Tezos. They connect now I'm forgetting the name of the maybe Max will know, but the product that is like the Wallet Connect for Tezos, where all of the wallets are all on one, and there's different wallets used for different reasons. But every person will be able to integrate, right? Once there's a wallet that I can integrate that has my Tezos and my Ethereum in it, and I could use that on OpenSea or whatever, that's when we win, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. And now we discuss such stuff as user experience and viability of all these NFT marketplaces and chains. And we are now in the bull market, but if there is a bear market, NFTs just may turn out to be a bubble and go bust. So do you think that NFT market will still be viable if that happens?
So for me personally, I definitely think that there will be projects that people will look back in hindsight and be like, why did I spend so much money on this? I don't care about this. Like I was just buying into a hype cycle. And then there will be projects that are built with love and care and that are built for actual engagement and to actually connect with people, both as collectors and as gamers. And if you've been playing a play to earn game and you've put a lot of hours into a character and you've enjoyed a lot of experiences, probably with some friends and probably with some other NFTs and some other platforms or some other things on the blockchain as well, with the interconnectedness, those are going to have meaning to you outside of the financial value. And there's no way that even if the outside demand for that causes, like, say, the price to drop, that you're going to stop wanting to interact with that. You're still going to have that connection. So it's all about the quality of the NFT and then the quality of the game when it comes to play to earn.
I fully agree. I mean, as you said, those NFTs, they become sort of the token of your memory and of the good experience you had. And another point is that those tokens still have utility, whereas other, for example, NFT artworks might not have any utility other than being able to look at it. So I think you really have to differentiate between the different asset classes within NFTs. And once the NFT bubble bursts, should it burst, then I think, yes, game NFTs are going to come down as well, but not probably to the extent that artwork NFTs would come down, I think. That's my prediction here. What do you think, CryptoStash?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. When it comes to, when it comes to actual use cases, there's different, use cases there, I would say, and dividing them between like it being, art or being, an actual gaming asset. I think that's actually pretty important to make that division. An NFT with utility is going to hold value much more over time and during a bear market than an NFT that doesn't. And so I think we're going to see a lot of these like PFP projects that have not really provided anything to their community, don't have any real good utility. I think we're going to see those things take an enormous hit, and we're going to see how a gaming utility really does keep the value of the something like that over a bear market. And we've already kind of seen that pre 2021, in my opinion. And, I think that once this kind of hype cycle, I wouldn't call it a bubble. I call it more of like a hype cycle. And once this hype cycle is kind of complete, I think that we're going to kind of see where those lie, because it's oversaturated at this point right now. And the funny part is because it's become so oversaturated because it's so easy to make a PFP avatar type of project. It's much, much harder to develop a game and an entire ecosystem around this game and economy and all these other things. So, when this cycle for PFP avatars is kind of over, that's when all these gaming projects are going to be coming out and just straight crushing everything in NFTs.
Yeah, I'll just throw out there during this pause that I think this space, you'd have to be kind of crazy to look at it and say everything is rational and, punk ape strong should be worth the amount that the average ape is worth and all these things. It's crazy, right? It is some sort of bubble, just the way that the 2017 crypto bubble was some sort of bubble, just like Bitcoin might be some sort of bubble in this moment. But I think all of us here are building in this space for the long term, because years from now, and I mentioned this in the previous panel, this industry will be orders of magnitude larger than it is today. But like Sash says, some of these things are going to fall, forever, because they aren't bringing value to the community, because they aren't creating something sustainable and long term. But I think I think the people that are right click and save the image, or people making fun of us are going to eat their words in these next few years.
Thank you. Conclusion words from Tracy.
Well, similar to what they're saying, you definitely have to differentiate, let's say, the art versus gaming. I think an interesting point they said was just like the timing of gaming. Like, it doesn't happen overnight that you can build a game, that you can build an economy within a game, that you can. So a lot of investments going into blockchain games. They have been for the last 3 years. I think more this year than ever once COVID happened. So we're going to start seeing the progress and like kind of like the fruits of all that within the next 2 years. So whatever this hype train happens with NFTs, I think gaming is here to stay. It's just going to get bigger and bigger. It just makes complete sense. They were already living in this world. They just needed blockchain. It was like the missing piece. They already collected coins. They already got skins. They were already trying to trade things. They have trading cards. Like, it was literally built for NFTs. So I think it's going to take some time to see it all to come. Says, some of these really big gaming companies bringing them out. I think there was a big shareholder meeting yesterday that happened with one of them. So Ubisoft, they pretty much said we're going to be entering play to earn. So it's like it's happening, and I don't think it's going anywhere in gaming specifically.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree with everything mentioned before, and that gaming as well brings much wider audience, which are genuinely interested in playing interesting stuff, playing games, and via NFTs we as well bring more crypto adoption into the industry. And how viable NFTs, gaming NFTs are, much depends on how viable is the audience, the players of this or that game. And thank you everybody for such an interesting discussions, and hope to see you at the next conferences.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everybody.